Every November, the story of the first Thanksgiving is told and retold. But behind the holiday lies a complex history that doesn't just end with turkey and pie. While most Americans know the story of the Pilgrims, the indigenous people they dined with, the Wampanoag, are lesser known. Today, about 5,000 Wampanoag descendants live as part of federally recognized tribes in coastal Massachusetts, preserving the story of their ancestors who shaped what would become one of America's defining holidays. While to most Americans the day is shrouded in thankfulness, to the Wampanoag people it is a day of mourning, a reminder of the disease, violence, and displacement their ancestors endured amid European migration. The Wampanoag, or People of the First Light, consisted of 69 tribes, with an estimated 12,000 years of history in the region now known as Eastern Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and parts of Connecticut. These seaside communities were semi-nomadic, moving seasonally along the coast to hunt and fish. The Wampanoag also relied on a sophisticated farming technique called the Three Sisters, interplanting corn, squash, and beans to nourish one another, a practice that remains well known today. In Wampanoag society, men often held political authority, but the community was matrilineal, with women owning land and passing it down to female descendants. However, this strong cultural structure would face a profound shift with the arrival of European settlers, whose presence introduced new challenges and an unforeseen epidemic. You see, when European traders began visiting New England in the early 1600s, they brought with them new goods, but also devastating diseases, including smallpox. These epidemics swept through Wampanoag villages, leading to a catastrophic loss of life in what's known as the Great Dying. During this period, roughly 2/3 of the Wampanoag population, of an estimated population of 45,000, were lost, leaving the survivors vulnerable to rival tribes like the Narragansett, who saw an opportunity to expand their influence. One survivor of the Great Dying was Tisquantum, also known as Squanto, who would become crucial in early Wampanoag-Pilgrim relations. This is because Squanto was kidnapped by an English captain in 1614 and sold into slavery, where he eventually made his way back to find his homeland devastated following the aftermath of the disease. During his time in slavery, Squanto became fluent in English and knowledgeable about European customs, so when he soon met the Pilgrims, he helped them learn essential skills for survival, like fishing and planting crops. In 1621, following a successful harvest, the Wampanoag, led by Chief Massasoit, and the Pilgrims formed an alliance through a treaty that aimed to protect each group against attacks from neighboring tribes, especially the Narragansett. This alliance was the basis for the event we now remember as the First Thanksgiving, although the meal itself was not the romanticized celebration often depicted. Recorded only briefly by a single eyewitness, the meal included foods native to the region: venison, shellfish, corn, and perhaps wildfowl. The Wampanoag outnumbered the settlers nearly 2-1, contributing 5 deer to the feast. Although the event didn't bear the name Thanksgiving at the time, it would later form the primary symbol of the holiday, though in a way that often overlooks the complexities of Wampanoag-Pilgrim relations. Over the years, tensions rose between the settlers and the Wampanoag as colonial expansion increasingly encroached on indigenous lands. This friction culminated in King Philip's War, a brutal conflict from 1675 to 1676, named after Metacom, the son of Chief Massasoit, who also called himself King Philip. The war was devastating for the Wampanoag, leading to a dramatic loss of life and ultimately tipping the balance of power to the colonists. In the aftermath, many Wampanoags were sold into slavery, while others were forced to integrate with Wampanoag communities on nearby islands. The struggle for the Wampanoag to retain their traditions and sovereignty continued through British colonial rule and well into American independence, with ongoing efforts to navigate a changing world while preserving their heritage. Today, the Wampanoag's legacy endures in federally recognized tribes like the Mashpee Wampanoag on Cape Cod and the Aquinnah Wampanoag on Martha's Vineyard. These tribes hold a government-to-government relationship with the U.S., allowing them some degree of sovereignty to manage their communities and preserve their culture. If you learned something new, don't forget to subscribe for more videos that expand your knowledge.